difficulty in reacting.
Edwards misses his third consecutive free throw. And he's only 1 of 5. Craig Hodges is going to check back in for the Bulls now. Billy Cartwright goes out. So Jordan, Hodges, and B.J. Armstrong for the final possession for Chicago. Get the shooters in there.
Well, looking forward to the second half, the Bulls have to beware. They've got 2 banged-up guards in Michael Jordan and John Paxson. And what's going to happen is Craig Hodges, B.J. Armstrong are going to have to step up the level of their play a bit to pick up where Michael Jordan left off, particularly in this half, since he's been the bulk of the offense.
Dumars gets the loose ball and puts it in. 12 seconds before halftime. Do you believe? Oh, of course you do. Michael Jordan's three-pointer at the buzzer. Watch the mid-air adjustment, Len Elmore.
Well, again, we mentioned reaction on defense. When you're on offense, you're creating. You don't have any pain.
That's the end of the first half with our score. Chicago 43, Detroit 39. Pat O'Brien and Bill Raftery, along with the Prudential at the half after this message. First half, Len.
Well, so far they've done a great job defensively.
As we said in game 1 here a year ago, they won the opener, lost game 2, went back to Chicago and won game 3, so they were up 2 games to 1. But then the Pistons won 3 in a row and captured the best-of-7 series 4 games to 2. Underneath it goes to Bill Cartwright. Turnaround jump hook, no good. Rebound, Rodman. Check the lineups as we start the second half. Isaiah Thomas, Rodman, Lambier, James Edwards, and Joe Dumars for Detroit. John Paxson will give it a go at the start. Here's Isaiah Thomas for 3. No. Lambier with the putback. Loose ball, foul, no basket. Foul on Lambier.
Well, when you don't get good position underneath, you're forced to push off. And that time, Bill Lambier was blocked off and used his arm to push off. Pretty much, though, again, Chicago doing a nice job of trying to prevent Detroit from posting up and forcing the outside shot.
That's the 3rd foul on Lambier, who's only 1 of 3 from the field. Jordan, too strong. Another loose ball foul. That's on Scottie Pippen. That's his 3rd. Phil Jackson got a technical.
So, I was going to say, you have to believe that Phil Jackson made that a strategic type of technical. He doesn't want his team to get manhandled. They're going to be on defense in front of his bench right now. And that's sending a message to the officials that he's not going to stand for allowing his guy to get roughed around and then not have it called on the other end. I don't see why it was done at this point because there was balance. The Pistons called for a loose ball on one end, the Bulls on the other.
Joe Dumars got the free throw, and Detroit has the ball trailing by 3, 11:05 to go, 3rd quarter. Isaiah bounces it back. That's going to be an over and back as soon as it's touched. And Chuck Daly is not pleased at all. Interesting scenario here in the Palace prior to the game. A half an hour before the tap, Chuck Daly was doing his coach's show live. Certain relaxed air about it. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. That ball out of bounds. Chicago controls.
Well, Chuck is not the only one who may have had potential distractions here. His team, with the long layoff, they seem to have come out here pretty flat, and not so much from a playing standpoint, but from a mental standpoint. You don't see the intensity, at least in the first half you didn't, as you thought you would from the Pistons.
Jordan, good pick from Pippen on the pick and roll. And then a good defensive effort from James Edwards. Chased down by Rodman. Isaiah Thomas, Paxson right there. Back to Lambier, who spots up for 3. Air ball. Michael Jordan at the other end. Scottie Pippen tipped away by Thomas. Detroit ball.
Well, that might be a start to increased intensity, particularly on the defensive end. Isaiah Thomas hustling back to get a hand on the ball. But if you look at the pace of this game, Detroit has dictated it, but it's played into the hands of the Bulls. They're able to get back and set up defensively nicely and do the job that they've been doing.
Dumars, Jordan right there to deny him the baseline. 6 on the shot clock. Back to Isaiah. Stripped. Jordan controls. Tipped out of bounds. Lambeer touched it last. It'll be Chicago's ball. Well, this is a Detroit team, Lenny, that hit 53% against Chicago in the first 5 games of regular season and only 36% so far. Watch the defense.
This is one of the reasons why Michael Jordan does a nice job, he and Bill Cartwright, in slowing the movement of the ball and then stripping Isaiah Thomas on the perimeter.
Stripped again. Other end, Dumars. That's 2.
Well, it's the defense that creates the momentum, particularly for the Pistons. They have to get out here and scratch and claw a little bit more in their half-court defense.
Grant, air ball, on the line, Detroit ball. Well, in talking about this Piston team, Phil Jackson said they play such great defense, and then on offense they just look for a weak link, try and exploit it, and it's worked very effectively. 43-42 from the corner. Pippen for Chicago. At the other end, Jordan, too strong.
Both teams with the opportunities, but they just can't connect. And just to further amplify what Phil Jackson said, the thing that he's most worried about, particularly in the beginning of a half like this in a close game, is Detroit playing good defense and going on a run that kind of takes them out of reach. Right now the Bulls have held their ground.
Thomas. Edwards. Boy, Cartwright with the rebound. Detroit can't solve the Chicago defensive puzzle thus far. Horace Grant. Right side, Cartwright might have gotten away with a shove, and he puts the putback is in. 45-42, 8.5. This crowd getting a little restless now.
Well, again, the Pistons are walking the ball up, and meanwhile, that's their style, but nevertheless, Chicago is back, able to set up, get people in the paint to prevent the post-ups, and now force Detroit to take shots with the clock running down.
Cartwright gets caught in the switch and fouls Isaiah Thomas. That's 3 on Bill Cartwright. So he and Lambeer have 3, and Scottie Pippen has 3.
You take a look at this play. Good defense here. Cartwright steps out. He just doesn't close the door on Isaiah Thomas by taking the angle away. But before that foul, the shot clock had gone down to 6. And that's what the Bulls have done. They've forced Detroit to take some shots with the clock running down to almost 0 in 4 seconds.
Dumars on Pippen, goes by him and gets 2. MVP of last year's finals with a 27-point per game average, Joe Dumars. Michael Jordan in the corner, quick ball rotation to Pippen for 3. Grant saves it. Edwards back to Pippen. Finger roll for 2.
Give Cartwright a lot of credit for challenging James Edwards on that rebound.
Dumars. He's got 16.
And the guy who leads by example, Joe Dumars, has now stepped up a little bit and taken on some of the offensive load for the Pistons until the whole team gets in track.
There's Rodman, the double team on Jordan. Quickly in the corner to Paxson. They come flying at him, and he puts it in the air. At the other end, here's Dumars for 2. Timeout, Chicago. Detroit, led by Joe Dumars, has reclaimed the lead.
Because while it's not always advisable to have 2 guys on the ball, you give them an A for effort. The rebound goes to Lambeer, and Joe Dumars again steps forward to pick up the offense for the Pistons. But what's happened is Detroit brought the crowd back into the game, something that they need to lift their emotional spirits and also to increase their effort.
Joe Dumars with 9 third-quarter points, most on layups. Here's Jordan. Chased down by James Edwards. Detroit now 4 of 8 from the field before the basket.
Follows on Horace Grant.
Horace Grant picks up the foul. That's his second. And Detroit will put it in bounds. B.J. Armstrong has come on the court now for Chicago during the timeout, and Will Perdue getting ready to make his first entrance in the ball game. Armstrong guarding Isaiah Thomas. Dumars again. He's got 20 right in the third quarter.
They moved so well without the ball. In a backdoor cut, Isaiah Thomas found him.
Armstrong counters in the other end. And it's a 1-point Detroit edge with 6:20 to go, third quarter.
And with Dumars stepping up offensively, Detroit has gone back to their game plan by making Michael Jordan work on both ends of the floor.
Edwards, Jordan down and double teaming. Illegal defense and a technical foul. 21,000 plus on hand at the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan, where the Pistons are 85-11 in the last 2 years. Been a tough place to win if you're a road team. Detroit has come from 4 down at halftime on the shooting of Joe Dumars, and he will shoot the technical foul now after the illegal defense call. Got it. Dumars had a wonderful analogy, I thought, about the success of this Detroit team when he was talking about the key to their success. He said it's versatility. We're like 12 kids in a school classroom, all of whom know the answer. And it's just a matter of who's going to get called on.
Well, that's pretty appropriate. Today, though, it took them a while. They must have conspired to find the answer. And they still haven't quite gotten it yet. But nevertheless, they're making the attempt to attack the Bulls' defense.
Loose ball, turnover, taken away by B.J. Armstrong. Perdue has come in now for the first time. There's Will Perdue. Scottie Pippen guarded by Dennis Rodman. Armstrong, Isaiah Thomas. Traveling. Second time Armstrong has been caught moving his pivot foot.
And certainly you got to believe Chuck Daly gave his team a good talking to. They came out here a little more aggressive defensively, contesting the movement of the ball, stepping up their defense, not allowing people to put it back on the floor and drive to the basket, and it's reaped some benefits for them.
John Sally on for Detroit. That loose ball will be Detroit's to inbound. Check the lineup now for Detroit. They've got Rodman and Lambier along with Sally. And at the guard spots, Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Stacey King checks in now for Chicago, and Perdue's appearance was ever so brief. So it's King and Pippen along with Horace Grant, Armstrong, and Michael Jordan.
Follows on Scottie Pippen.
A quick foul on Scottie Pippen, and oh boy, that's his fourth.
Well, it's a dead ball foul. The ball hadn't been inbounded. Pippen with the push-off against Lambier. And it's one of those things where the officials may have seen the second one. Lambier stepped up to Pippen really tightly, and Pippen pushed him off.
Here's something extraordinary in the playoffs. Bill Lambier at the free throw line.
Well, certainly, up until now, over 270 minutes. I would imagine he played a lot of minutes this game. 3 times he's made attempts at the free throw line. And for a guy 6'11", that's unbelievable.
Does that indicate to you he's probably not going to the basket?
Offensively, I would say that he's pitched a tent right around the three-point area. But, I mean, you look at his game, and really they're playing to the strengths of Bill Lambier's game. He's never been a great post-up player. He's blessed with a great touch from outside and an uncanny knack for finding people inside with his passing ability. So rather than try to change the guy, they play to that strength, and they've been very successful with it.
Well, that's his 5th free throw of the playoffs in 1990, and he gets 1 of 2. And it's a 3-point Detroit edge. Their largest lead of this ball game, 4 in the second quarter. Largest lead by Chicago was 7 in quarter number 1. Grant back to Jordan. Gets caught in mismatch with Kansas' first basket of this half. He's got 28 points now.
And then Chuck Daly jump up and scream across to the ball. Michael Jordan came off open.
Dumars over Jordan.
On this end of the floor, though, on their offensive end, you know the Pistons are going to continue to make him work.
54-51. Joe Dumars, 23 points. Michael Jordan with 28. What a matchup. And there they are. 2 more for Jordan.
That time, Bill Lambier stepped out to become the help person He was supposed to go and double team Michael Jordan, but Jordan got to the corner so quickly, Lambier just couldn't catch up with him.
1 point, Detroit edge. Armstrong seeing a lot of action because of the injury and relative ineffectiveness to John Paxson. Sprained ankle. Underneath to Sally. Off the glass over Stacey King.
The Bulls have now come out and contested the Pistons as the Pistons spread their offense, and that's opened it up inside.
Grant for Chicago. Can't shake him.
Well, this is a good opportunity for the versatility of the Bulls offense to come to the fore. Horace Grant has got to get involved as well as Scottie Pippen.
Pick set by Bill Lambier. There's the pick and fade rather than a pick and roll. He spots up to the 3. And the shot no good at the other end, but Thomas. Loose ball foul. On Isaiah Thomas.
I think they should have called it on John Sally. It looked as though it was Sally who was doing the holding inside of Stacey King. (56-55). Vinnie Johnson getting ready to come back on the court for the Detroit Pistons. Armstrong, give him the shot. They'll give him that shot all day. Here's Dumars for Detroit. Back to Thomas. Caught Lambier free. Sally. Isaiah Thomas. Good defense by the Bulls, but when Isaiah Thomas wants to get a shot, he's going to get it.
And another foul called at the other end. Time has been called. The foul is called on John Sally. It's Detroit by 3.
In today's higher revving and
He mentioned he didn't want Michael Jordan to get the ball at his waist because that's a triple threat position. Michael Jordan can now look inside for the pass, put it on the floor and go either way, or shoot the jump shot. You got to crowd him. And that time Bill Lambier just stepped out, really didn't contest it. And you see the result.
30 points for Michael Jordan, playing with an injured left hip and a bruised right hip, I think. 58-55, 2:59 to go, quarter number 3.
And when you look at any player, any fundamentally sound player who gets in the triple threat position, they usually can do something to help their team and hurt you defensively. But you add a Michael Jordan to that equation, and it's really going to be a hard night for you if you allow him to get it where he wants it, and that is on the hip.
Armstrong is guarded by Vinnie Johnson. Ed Neely's come on for Chicago as well. There's Dumars and Johnson. Jordan for 3. That one no good. Lambier saves it for Detroit. And a chance for the largest lead of the game now for the Pistons.
That shot may be out of Michael Jordan's range if there is such a thing, but that's the kind of shot the Pistons can live with.
Jordan will guard Vinnie Johnson this time down, and they put Armstrong on Dumars, who posts him up and hits the jumper.
Well, it's the consummate pro again against the learning and eager rookie. The little bump is what froze Armstrong.
Largest lead of the ball game now for the Detroit Pistons. Stacey King, left-handed hook.
Well, Stacey King has come on strong for the Bulls, as we mentioned before. Offensively, he's matured an awful lot and given them a post threat.
Dumars 11 of 18 now, and 25 points. There's the switch. Lambier with a pump fake and goes by Pippen.
You don't draw too many fouls doing that. But you make your coach happy.
When it goes in, and it usually does when Lambier hits that shot. Final 90 seconds, quarter number 3, a 5-point edge. Here in Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. Nice drive and the dish. Armstrong to Ed Neely.
Well, that's the triumvirate that's done such a great job off the bench. Stacey King, B.J. Armstrong, and now Ed Neely, who's come off. Ed Neely almost single-handedly won a game for Philadelphia with his play off the bench.
Surprised they're going to keep Armstrong on Dumars. Here's Johnson. And he'll shoot a couple. And players are down. Vinnie Johnson. Scottie Pippen picks up his 5th foul. And the concern right now with Vinnie Johnson.
We see Michael Jordan on Vinnie Johnson. The crossover as Michael turned his head. Pretty tough call on Scott Pippen. He may have reached in just a bit, but it didn't look as though it interfered in any way with Vinnie Johnson's movement towards the basket. But Vern, getting back to your question before and asking me, am I surprised that DJ Armstrong is still on Joe Dumars? Michael Jordan has to have a rest at some point.
Okay.
Now, he's not going to get much of a rest with Vinnie Johnson and Joe Dumars in the backcourt, but I think that Vinnie Johnson's limited range to a certain extent allows Michael Jordan to play off him a bit, and then the rest there.
Here's Armstrong, who will be guarded at the other end by Vinnie Johnson. 64-59, back to a 5-point margin. Illegal defense against Detroit, so Chicago will shoot the technical. Michael Jordan scoring by the guards, Jordan and Dumars. 30 points for Michael Jordan, 25 for Joe Dumars. And they're matched up, have been for most of the game today.
And the thing about Joe Dumars is that he's not a gaudy type player. You look at the third quarter, 16 points. He gives it to his team when they need it most. And at the beginning of the third quarter, they had to come out here and establish some type of offense, and Joe Dumars was the man.
Good ball denial by Jerome Salley. John Salley, I don't know where Jerome came from all of a sudden. Dumars. 2 more. 66-60. Ed Neely. And he'll shoot a couple.
And in the bottom left-hand side of your screen, a moment ago, Joe Dumars approached official Wally Rooney and asked him the license plate of that truck that hit him. Number 45, Ed Neely throwing his body around inside. He's the physical presence that's necessary for the Bulls to really stay competitive. He knocks people around, he frees people up with his picks, and the bonus is that he gets around the basket, has good hands, and is able to get the dish off. You see the drive here by Michael Jordan.
Oh, boy.
And again, the physical presence in there. Dennis Rodman knows who he is.
Neely misses both. The lead stays at 6. And Detroit will have a chance for the last shot of the third quarter. Joe Dumars has been on fire in quarter number 3 with 18 points. Blocked by Horace Grant. And he picks up his 3rd foul. Lambier is going to more than double his number of free throws in the previous playoff games. He's going back to the line.
Well, particularly on that jump shot, it's a nice little technique for guys that are running out at you. He takes the jumper, but his legs are still kicked out, and it makes it difficult for the guy defending not to make contact with you as he goes by.
Lambier now 1 of 3.
And when you don't get to the line that often, you really magnify your displeasure with a miss.
Lead is 7. Intercepted by Dumars. In the third quarter, the Detroit Pistons outscored Chicago by 11 points. That's the end of the third with our score. Detroit 67, Chicago 60. We'll return to the Palace of Auburn Hills. We began the fourth quarter. Aguirre has come in now with Joe Dumars, John Salley, Vinnie Johnson, and Bill Lambier. B.J. Armstrong still draws the defensive assignment. On Dumars, the shot, no. Ed Neely pulls it down for the Bulls. It's King and Pippen playing with 5 fouls along with Hodges. There's the entry pass. Stacey King. Bill Lambier yelled offense, and Jake O'Donnell said nothing.
Stacey King with that acrobatic attempt at the basket still has a little trouble in gaining the handle of the ball when it's passing him in traffic. But you look at the Chicago offense right now without Michael Jordan in. They've got a front line of Pippen, King, and Neely. And really it's Scott Pippen who's going to have to now unburden himself with whatever he's doing and get involved in the offense a little more. He's the big threat on the floor right there. Maybe Craig Hodges from 3 points.
Pippen with 8 points and playing with 5 fouls. Stacey King, there's Michael getting a rest as Phil Jackson rests him at the start of the 4th quarter. Armstrong, 10-second count underway. They're going to have to hurry. Made it. Lambier. Neely, quick outlet pass. Stacey King.
That's one of the ways you hide the weakness on the offense is to go out there, apply pressure, run the clock down, make the other team go out of its offensive pattern so you can get the rebound and come back and set up.
Hodges back to Pippen over Vinnie Johnson. Short with a 3-pointer, and he'd started down at the other end. Didn't follow the shot. 5-point Detroit edge. We played 1 minute and 5 seconds of the 4th quarter. Two teams play here on Tuesday night, then games 3 and 4 next weekend, Memorial Day weekend on CBS. Lambier for 2.
Good job by Aguirre in drawing the defenders to him under the basket and seeing a cunning Lambier go to the basket.
Johnson guards Hodges. Dumars on Armstrong. King sets a back screen for Craig Hodges. There's Stacey King, and he'll shoot a couple more. Fourth foul on Bill Lambier. Isaiah Thomas back into the lineup, and Joe Dumars will get a rest. James Edwards also going to re-enter the floor for Detroit. Lambier sitting down with his 4th foul. Michael Jordan comes back on, replacing B.J. Armstrong for the Bulls.
Little chess game here, Chuck Daly and Phil Jackson. Chuck Daly recognizing that there's a rookie playing the post, brings in his best inside guy, James Edwards. And knowing that there's going to be some exploitation there on that end, Phil Jackson feels he needs a big offensive push, and then he brings Michael Jordan back in maybe a little earlier than he wanted to.
King misses both. Chicago 10 of 15 from the free throw line. Aguirre backing in on Pippen, who has to give him room. The follow and a foul, Ed Neely.
Chicago foul on Ed Neely.
Certainly when Chuck Daly talks about, his team's defense, as Phil Jackson says that they like to exploit people on their offensive end. 2 things happen. Chuck Daly's defense now can back up a little bit with this lead and seal off the middle again. And on offense, they recognize certainly they have an advantage with Mark Aguirre being guarded by Ed Neely, and they've been going to it.
Now Bill Cartwright back into the lineup. Stacey King will sit down for Chicago. Aguirre gets them both. He's got 4 points. The lead, largest of the game, 9 points, 71-62. And we're under the 10-minute mark. Cartwright trying to give a screen for Pippen, now calls for the ball. Back it goes to Neely. Jordan over Vinnie Johnson. No. Isaiah Thomas hustled for the rebound. Mark Aguirre. In and out. He's 1 of 6 from the field. 9:25 to go. 71-62. Pippen over Edwards. And you think Edwards didn't have a presence there.
It's been an overall tough day for Scottie Pippen right there. But there's still enough time for him to get on track. What he's got to do, though, is possibly help out Ed Neely.
Vinnie Johnson, Cartwright in his face. Sally flying in for the rebound. And he'll shoot 2 free throws as Ed Neely draws the foul. 8:55 remaining in game number 1. Best of 7 series between Detroit and Chicago. Red Holtzman with a lot of his coaching philosophy. Tex Winter as well. And John Bach, both of whom are on the bench with him right now.
Well, you heard Jerry Krause refer to Phil Jackson's style, and it's a style that's meshed real well with the Bulls personnel. He's not a hollow-type guy. He likes players to play within themselves, but nevertheless, he's not going to try to alter anybody's game. He's going to show them the way, and most importantly, he gets along with Michael Jordan.
Valid point. And we don't want to forget the others who've influenced Phil Jackson's, notable among them, Kevin Lockery. And here's John Sally at the free throw line. 8 points and 3 rebounds. 8:55 to go. The lead now in double digits for the first time today. Neely and Hodges join Jordan, Pippen, and Cartwright on the floor for Chicago. Vinnie Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Mark McGuire, Sally, and James Edwards for Detroit. Pippen having a tough day. He's 4 for 11. 21,000 plus on hand at this beautiful basketball facility north of Detroit, Auburn Hills, the Palace, where the Pistons trail by 4 at halftime, 43-39, but they outscored Chicago 28-17 in the third quarter, and they have an 11-point lead right now with 8:20 to go in game number 1. Underneath, knocked away, and Pippen gets it for Chicago. Hodges, back to Pippen. That's a big one for Chicago. Three-pointer.
It's a big one for Scott Pippen's confidence as well. He knows he's going to be needed as this game wears on in this fourth quarter. But most importantly, where the Bulls offense went south, they now have to step up. They're going to have to take some quicker shots.
James Edwards called with an offensive foul away from the ball. That's his second. And Chicago now following Pippen's three-pointer. Trails by 8. Michael Jordan had 26 at the half, 5 in the second half. Here's Jordan with Vinnie Johnson on it. Hodges. Brought down by Edwards. Aguirre. And Mark Aguirre goes to the free throw line.
Well, there are some rebounds available on the offensive board. Phil Jackson's got to find somebody who can convert them. Ed Neely on that particular play, before Detroit came down on the offensive end, really had a chance to put the ball back in, but didn't. And I believe Horace Grant has replaced him right now. They need somebody to take advantage of their opportunities. Detroit's doing it.
Yes. Gets 1 of 2. Chicago Bulls in their series against Philadelphia had big fourth quarters, as Jerry Krause said. Outscored them by consecutively 3, 4, 14, 19, and 10 points. And they need that same kind of an effort here in the final 7:29.
And you know, a lot of that obviously has been clear out and open floors for Michael Jordan, who literally takes over for his team when they're competitive in the fourth quarter. The Bulls hope to get competitive at least in the next 4 minutes to allow him to really take over.
Johnson shaking loose. There's Jordan on the curl pattern, but has trouble. Kicks it out to Cartwright. Back to Armstrong for the jumper. Now Pippen for 3. Yes, that's 2 in a row for Scottie Pippen.
And a great substitution. Ed Neely, while he's a competent player, doesn't have the skills of a Horace Grant, who got that offensive rebound and found Scott Pippen along the three-point area.
75-68. Johnson. The feed from Isaiah Thomas, and Vinnie Johnson has 10. That equals his playoff average. Here's Jordan at the other end. He kisses the glass and gets 2. He's got 7.5 now and 33 in the ball game. No surprise that this game's not going to be scored in triple digits by either team.
And they're certainly putting forth the effort defensively.
Isaiah Thomas. There's the answer for Detroit with a three-pointer.
Well, Isaiah had been quiet, but again, you can't really fault the Bulls defense because that's the kind of shot that you want to give up, if anything.
Michael Jordan misfires. He's 12 of 23. Huge rebound edge now for Detroit at 42-30. Johnson cuts through. Jordan with the rebound. He finds Scottie Pippen. Grant. Aguirre for Detroit.
Four-shot selection by Horace Grant. He takes a 22-footer with no red shirts in the paint. He misses that. You might as well hand it to the Pistons.
Now the pace slowed down, and looks like they might have gotten James Edwards his third foul. Time has been called. 5:19 remaining in the ball game. The lead at 10.
In Larry Bird and Robert Parrish, the Boston Celtics possess one of history's greatest front court tandems. A brilliant passer, Bird finds Parrish for easy baskets, while Parrish often beats double teams by hitting Bird for open jump shots. Perfectly complementing each other, teammates Larry Bird and Robert Parrish work to be the best they can be.
Armstrong, Pippen, Cartwright, Jordan and Grant for Chicago. Here's Michael Jordan, Vinnie Johnson. That shot's off the mark.
And even Michael Jordan has caught some of that disease on the perimeter, not able to really put the ball down in wide open shots.
That's 6 rebounds for Isaiah Thomas, who has the ball right now. Armstrong takes a swipe at it. Pippen tries to save it for Chicago. Couldn't do it. Chuck Daly's going to his bench again. A well-rested Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, and Bill Laimbeer will replace Vinnie Johnson, James Edwards, and Mark Aguirre, who depart the Palace floor to a standing ovation.
And particularly with Rodman and Sally in, you know, offensively, Detroit's going to go to Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas as much as they can to create openings and either exploit them themselves or dish it off to some guys for some wide open shots. But defensively, Sally and Rodman are going to try and take over inside. This is that point in time when Detroit wants to lower the boom.
Dumars with 18 third-quarter points ignited the spark that brought Detroit from 4 down to 11 up. Right now, the lead is 10. Isaiah Thomas cuts through 2-man, doesn't get the roll, but the follow is there from John Sally.
And it was Isaiah Thomas's penetration that created the opportunity for John Sally to crash the boards. He and Rodman, great offensive rebounders. That's why they're there.
Sally has 11, joining Vinnie Johnson in double figures off the bench. We thought that might be a factor today for Detroit. They have such experience and talent. Here's Pippen, 2 more for Scottie Pippen, who's played the duration of this fourth quarter with 5 fouls. Traveling call. Technical foul follows that.
Isaiah's got to be careful. He can't lose his composure like that. His team is up 10 points. He certainly did carry, and I'm sure he's the kind of guy, when he sees a replay at home on his VCR, he'll recognize that it was a good call by the official.
There's Jordan with the tee. Take a look at it.
As you watch him come down, watch him put his hand. He carries the ball, hits his body. And it certainly was a good call.
Billy Oakes made the call. And then Isaiah rather vociferously disagreed with it. Got the technical. Now Chicago has the ball, trailing by 9.
And it wasn't so much that the ball hit his body, but his hand went under the ball to control it as he put it back down. And that's turning it over.
Jordan gets the ball to Grant, back to Armstrong. Well, they keep giving him that shot, and B.J. Armstrong cans this one. Lead is 7 with 3.5 to go in the ball game. Detroit's down by 4 at the half. Outscored Chicago 28-17 in the third quarter to take command. Laimbeer. Rims out, Pippen.
Lambier was not the first option, obviously. Joe Dumars was really tightened up by the Chicago Bulls.
Offensive foul. Wow. Think he's in his first year? Huh?
Against a veteran who just had a technical called against him. Those things happen.
B.J. Armstrong, second foul, third team foul.
Chuck Daly with a little globetrotter behind his back action there. I don't think that was purposeful. He had to laugh at it. Maybe he's looking for highlight film for his show.
3:06 remaining. 82-75. Joe Dumars, Michael Jordan back on him now. Dumars was matched up against B.J. Armstrong when he scored most of those 18 third quarter points. Thomas. Trouble. This time Isaiah doesn't bother to disagree with the call. That is a look of chagrin, but his team is up by 7. 2:48 remaining in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Detroit. By Eastern Conference Final game 4 between Chicago and Detroit. Right now, let's get a quick check-in with Leslie Bissett. Les? All right, Les. First of all, Michael's going to have Dumars all over him for this possession. There's the switch in the pick and roll, and Michael finds Horace Grant underneath, but he traveled.
Really a tough play right there. Horace Grant with a great pass from Michael Jordan had the opportunity.
2:35 to go. Isaiah Thomas, B.J. Armstrong. Jordan comes out to help. That leaves Dumars open. And he misses the shot, but Lambier gets the rebound.
He too gets away with a little shove off.
Right. There's that pick and fade or spot up by Lambier with Thomas. This time Isaiah keeps the ball. 6 in the shot clock. Sally. Traveling.
And that's a real tough play right there. The intent was to run a lot of time off the clock, but when you get the opportunity for a shot, you've got to be able to get one. There they ran a lot of time off, but didn't come out with anything.
Timeout has been called by the Chicago Bulls. It comes with what? Third time in a row these two have met in the playoffs. It was the semifinals 2 years ago, the conference finals last year, and Detroit has prevailed on each occasion. Thomas, 4 on the shot clock as they run time off. 2, 1, no. Grant with the rebound, stripped away, and the putback by Dennis Rodman.
Well, certainly the Chicago bench wanted a foul call there, but Horace Grant committed a cardinal sin. Tight game, brought the ball down to his waist and allowed Isaiah Thomas to get his hands on it. You got to come out there rough and aggressive with it.
Entry pass. Jordan gives it left side to Cartwright for 2. 56 seconds remaining in game 1.
The Pistons have broken the pressure, the double team by the Bulls by splitting it, either with a pass like Isaiah Thomas did just then or with the body to be able to see.
Dumars 18 in the third quarter, but none in the fourth. And here's Pippen. Jordan spots up for 3. In and out. Edwards tries to control it. Detroit ball. Bill Lambier will enter the fray now with the final 31.5 seconds, and Stacey King counters for Chicago. Edwards will sit down, as will Bill Cartwright. 84-77. At the other end, Rodman. That was almost embarrassing.
Looking forward to game 2. The Bulls certainly have to be happy with the way they played defense in the first half, at least. But what they have to find a way is to get the ball to some other people, to get some other people involved in the offense. I thought that was going to happen in this game.
Michael Jordan misses the three at the end. The final score, Detroit wins it by 86-77 as they hold Chicago to 39% from the field for the game.
Joe Dumars' emphasis on...
You really have to understand that it is the entertainment industry, and that's what I'm doing. I'm playing a character, that very high-profile person that represents the greater part.